It is the 5th week out of Portsmouth, 1747, and before you eat, you knock your bread twice against the table. Small pale things drop out onto the wood. You brush them away without looking, because every man on this deck is doing it at the same moment. Then you eat. The bread is a flat disc of flour and water, baked until it is nearer a roof tile than a loaf. That biscuit is the reason you can be out here at all. It does not rot and it needs no cook. It will sit in a cask for a year and still be food. A pound of it a day per man, written into the Navy's own standard. It is also the reason that in about a month your body is going to start coming apart. The rest of the day's allowance is salt beef or salt pork, dried peas, a lump of hard cheese, and a gallon of beer. It is a real ration. Nobody is starving you. On paper, it is more food than a farm laborer at home would see. One thing is missing from it. That thing has no name yet, and nobody aboard is looking for it. Nothing fresh survives a long voyage. Greens rot in a week, fruit goes faster, and there is no way to keep either one cold in a wooden hold. So the whole system is built out of things that do not spoil, which means salt, flour, dried peas, and beer. The barrel is what makes the ocean crossable. The barrel is also what is going to kill you. We know now what was missing. Vitamin C, which your body cannot make and cannot store for long. Without it, you stop building collagen properly, and collagen is the material holding your blood vessels, your gums, your skin, and your old scars together. It takes about a month of eating nothing that contains it before the first symptom shows. You have been at sea for 5 weeks. It starts as tiredness, which is the cruelest way for it to start, because tiredness on a ship means nothing. You are always tired. You go up the shrouds and your legs feel wrong on the way. Your knees ache at night. You put it down to the cold and the work, and so does every man who has it. Then your gums. They swell and go soft and dark, and they bleed into your mouth while you chew, so the biscuit begins to taste of iron. You find a tooth that moves under your tongue. Nothing knocked it and nothing rotted the root. It is just moving. In a jaw that was solid a fortnight ago, held in by something that has stopped being made. Then a strange one. There is a scar on your forearm from a rope burn years ago. Healed, pale, forgotten. It opens again along the exact line it closed on. Men with old broken bones find the break starts to ache, and sometimes gives, in a place that had been sound for a decade. The body loses the ability to keep it repaired. Below deck it is dark at noon. The air is bilge and tar and wet wool. The beams sit low over your hammock, and the man in the next one has the same mouth you do. When it gets bad enough, you are carried up into the open air, because the surgeon thinks the air below is part of the cause. He is wrong, and it helps anyway. None of this is rare. 3 years before you sailed, Commodore Anson came home from a voyage around the world having lost most of his men, the great majority to this rather than to the Spanish. Accounts of that voyage disagree on the numbers. One modern estimate puts the age of sails dead from scurvy above 2 million. And that is an estimate, not a count. So the surgeons try things. The theory of the day says the body is putrefying from the inside, so the treatments are the ones that fight rot, vinegar, oil of vitriol, seawater, bleeding. None of it works. And fruit had been noticed before, more than once, written down by captains decades earlier. The knowledge kept arriving and kept not sticking. On the 20th of May, 1747, aboard His Majesty's ship, Salisbury, patrolling the channel, the ship's surgeon does something about that. His name is James Lind. He has 30 or 40 men sick with scurvy in his care, and he picks 12 of them, choosing, in his own words, cases as similar as he could have them. Then he does the part that actually matters. All 12 are put in the same part of the ship and fed exactly the same food. Gruel sweetened with sugar, mutton broth, barley, biscuit, sago, and wine. Same illness, same birth, same diet. Only one thing is allowed to be different between them. He splits the 12 into 6 pairs. The first pair get a quart of cider a day. The second get 25 drops of elixir of vitriol 3 times a day. The third get 2 spoonfuls of vinegar 3 times. The fourth get half a pint of seawater. The fifth get a paste of garlic, mustard seed, and myrrh. The sixth get 2 oranges and 1 lemon. Be the fourth pair for a moment. You're lying in the sick berth of a warship with your gums bleeding and your legs going. And the treatment you have been assigned is half a pint of seawater a day. You drink it. You are part of the answer, and you will get none of the benefit of it. The 6th pair eat their fruit, and it works almost at once. Lind wrote that the most sudden and visible good effects were perceived from the use of oranges and lemons, and that one of the 2 men who took them was, at the end of 6 days, fit for duty. 6 days. The other was well enough by then to nurse the rest of them. The fruit runs out after those 6 days, because 6 days of it is all the ship carried. The Salisbury comes back into port on the 17th of June, and the trial ends there. 4 weeks old, 12 men, no follow-up at all. It is the smallest study you will ever hear described as famous. Lynn did not leave that ship believing he had found a cure. That is the part that does not usually get told. He kept the old theory, that scurvy came from damp and from perspiration trapped in the body, and he treated fruit as one useful thing among several. He waited 6 years to publish, then buried the trial inside a 400-page book that mostly reviews other men's work. His practical recommendation made it worse. Fresh fruit will not keep, so he suggested boiling the juice down into a thick syrup, a rob, that could be stored in casks. Boiling destroys the thing that works. Nobody knew there was a thing, so when the rob failed at sea, it looked as though the fruit had failed, and the idea lost credit it had never quite earned. The Admiralty ordered daily lemon juice for the whole fleet in 1795, 48 years after those 12 men. Historians still argue about what to call what he did. Some say the first controlled clinical trial. Others point out that he chose 12 men out of 40 by rules he never wrote down, and that he did not believe his own result. Both are true at once. So the cure was never hidden. It was on the ship, and it still took most of a century to become an order. If you had been the man drinking seawater in that berth, would you have wanted to know the answer was 2 hammocks away? Tell me in the comments. Subscribe if you want to spend next week somewhere else in the past.